do you have any thoughts about this, I guess, evolution about esports and like people getting more invested in players as well and all that, I guess?
Yeah, as I said, I think esports is going to be more like community led and stuff. So I definitely think this is probably going to happen more and more in the future. I would say that I am totally fine with it as long as it doesn't cross a certain line where it becomes unhealthy or too parasocial or something like that.
Yeah.
But until then, like, I'm very happy to see people supporting other people.
And before starting this video, we have to quickly thank our sponsors in Oli for helping us provide you with all this content. And as always, please, if you are looking for some energy drinks and some tasty beverages, make sure to check out the Oli website for some really nice products and use the code SE5 at checkout for €5 discount or SE10 for 10% discount on any purchase that you do on the website. And once again, thank you so much to Oli for sponsoring this content. And now please enjoy the interview. All right, we are a few days before the EU Masters, or I guess EMEA Masters 2025 winter edition, and I'm in the presence of Los Ratones Nemesis today, the superstar mid laner of the team. And I mean, it is an exciting time to be a fan of Los Ratones and be a part of the Rats. And I mean, there's so many things going on right now. But first, to start off, I saw that, I mean, obviously, when you have a big fan base, there's always some people that are going to be hating as well. And I saw that today, McDonald's Arabia was a bit rough to you guys. He said that you should probably considering retiring and focusing on streaming instead of playing pro. So could you tell me, I mean, what are Los Ratones going to be doing at EMEA Masters this time around to prove him wrong?
We're gonna aim to win it. That's how we're gonna prove him wrong. But I think even if we do win it, this particular individual, his mind, I don't think he wants his mind to be changed. He probably already set his mind. So
yeah,
there's nothing really to do to help him, I think.
And I mean, in that vein of like all the content rosters and stuff, I think it's a very interesting topic because Los Ratones, thus far at least, is the most successful, I guess, streaming team, quote unquote, thus far, because obviously we've seen like what happened with Ruddy. There's the double lift team going around right now in NA, but they're probably not going to be going to NACL because they don't really want to commit and stuff. So what do you think makes Los Ratones different than all these other rosters? I mean, obviously you have like some ex-pros, you have some current pros as well. So what do you think about that?
I think it helps that we first of all have Caedrel, who's like the biggest co-streamer, whatever you want to call it, in the scene. He's very knowledgeable. He can do like a lot of different jobs. Then it helps that I think our roster is just like very well built, and we have like so many names that people want to watch, that people get excited. I think we have a very good mix of personalities that we can do a lot of like different content, and then we also can showcase like good gameplay, I guess. So that's like, I would say, is like the main thing that kind of puts us different to other teams. And also I think we take the whole thing a lot more serious. Like we planned it for a longer time. Caedrel has built his entire team of staff, you know, that does behind the scenes job, like the YouTube videos that people get and this and that, you know, that's not us players doing it. That's like different people behind the scenes that don't get mentioned. So yeah, that's probably, I guess, the TLDR of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, fair enough. And I mean, especially, I guess, a lot of people were very surprised about the downfall, I guess, of the Rudy squad, because obviously you see names like, you see Perks, Yankos, and stuff like that. All players that obviously were like finalists at Worlds. They won MSI right back in the days as well and stuff. So people thought that like maybe this raw talent was there, but I guess it seems you agree that like a lot of it is also the fact that like you guys put more efforts into it than most of the team, right?
It's definitely like commitment. We take this very serious. As for some other teams, I don't really want to like talk for them, but kind of like the feeling that I get is that, you know, they think it's maybe gonna be easy, or like maybe they want to do other things on the side, which is like fair enough. Like it's their choice at the end of the day. Like most of these streamer teams, you don't really get paid, right? So
yeah.
For a lot of people, it's not very easy. Like especially if you aren't a big streamer, it's not very easy for them to just take this as super serious and then just do nothing else in life. Like people have their own lives they need to prioritize. So yeah, there's that, I guess.
Yeah. And returning to your own career as well and your path to joining Los Ratones, obviously you are a fan favorite at this point for your days in Fnatic, for your presence on social media and everything, but you've been away from the pro scene since November 2020, right, when you ended your journey with Fnatic. So I guess the big question obviously is like, why join Los Ratones now? What convinced you to come back? I mean, obviously there's like the streaming aspect and everything, right? And I guess did Caedrel like bring a big like sack of gold ingots like in those movies or something to convince you? What happened?
No, he didn't bring any gold or any big speech or anything like that. I just like the moment he asked, it was just like a natural answer in my head that I'm going to join this because it makes a lot of sense for what I want to do in life and what the vision of this project is and everything we want to do. I mean, like the reality is that I just didn't want to join bottom tier teams, or I didn't want to join rosters that I genuinely thought or like didn't believe in. I didn't want to do something that I don't think is going to work out. Like I'm going to prioritize myself over what other people think because it is my life that I'm living, I guess. And this to me, like Los Ratones is just like, it was just like the perfect project, I guess, that I've been waiting all these years. And yeah, to me, it was just a no-brainer to join it.
Yeah, and this kind of connects as well in something that I remember from you as well, that I think you said in other interviews that like as a kid, you already were telling your elementary teachers, right, that you wanted to be the best one day and you wanted to be like the pro player that people were looking towards as well. So, I mean, first of all, like, did you miss pro play throughout all these years? Because it's been like more than 4 years, right, that you've been away. Was it something that was always maybe like in the back of your head? You were always like, damn, I really want to be able to come back and finally like play again? Or how did you feel about that?
I would say the answer is yes and no. Like I miss certain aspects of professional play that are very fun for me. Like professional play is not just only, butterflies and only good things. Also bad things come with it that you have to deal with as a player. So I definitely missed like the good parts about being a professional player. And yeah, I've definitely like considered a lot of other options throughout the years. There were like, I probably had like, I would say 10 team offers throughout the last 5 years that I didn't play professional play. And some of them I was pretty close to joining, I would say. But at the end of the day, I'm very happy that I waited this long and I have no regrets like not playing for this long. And I think this is just like perfect right now.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of half answered this question already, but obviously I think a lot of people are already talking about like, oh my God, is Los Ratones like in a year or two going to be joining the LEC at some point? Like everyone wants to see that, obviously. Would you say that Los Ratones is your dream project to potentially make that jump back to the LEC someday, I guess in the near future?
I mean, currently 100%, right? I'm not going to answer maybe in 2 years, 3 years, things are different. But like currently, 100%. Like if Los Ratones wants to join or can join LEC in 2026 and, my team, the players and Caedrel and all, want to move on or like go to LEC, and then I'll 100% join as well, I think.
Yeah. And so speaking of the LEC, there's something that on the day of the recording is quite related to this because this evening you guys announced that you were going to be scrimming GiantX LEC team. It ended up getting blocked by Riot Games because of streaming regulations and everything. And I guess, first of all, I want to ask you, like, what do you think about this situation? Do you think that maybe this is something that needs to change in the future? Because obviously, I mean, Los Ratones, for example, if you were to join the LEC, you're a team that's focused on streaming, right? So I guess it would probably be a problem for you guys as well in the future, right?
Well, I think we can't keep doing things the same way they are going for the last 5 years. This is like very noticeable. I think things have gotten too repetitive, and for example, this year there's a huge people are like in the scene. A lot of people are saying that they really like Fearless Shaft and they wanted to stay and stuff like that. So I think we should try to change some things, and that's why I think like, I mean, ideally, I do think it's good for everyone if we are in the future able to stream the scrims and stuff. But I like right now we're just gonna wait, I guess, and see what they decide.
Yeah, obviously. And I mean, do you think that streaming scrims in general is something that should be beneficial for the scene? Because we've seen FlyQuest try it in North America, right? We haven't seen other teams really try to push for it. So do you think this is something that should be adopted more globally, I guess?
I would say the way I see it, I think the future of the league esports ecosystem, or however you want to call it, is probably going to be like creator-led, community-led. So whether that is streaming scrims or in some other sort of way, I don't know, but I definitely think things are probably going to have to change.
Yeah.
And they already kind of are, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, we're seeing like Karmine Corp, right, Koi, all these teams that are very creator focused. But anyways, aside from all this, I want to move to a completely different topic now, because obviously we have to discuss EMEA Masters coming very fast at this point. It's only in like, what, 1 week from now at the time of recording. So, I mean, obviously the big question on everyone's mind is, what are Los Ratones' chances at the EMEA Master, in your opinion?
I mean, I think the PR answer is I think we're top 3 team. I think my real answer is we're gonna win it. That's what I think. Yeah. There's nothing really else to add.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Caedrel in particular seems to be a bit more stressed lately. Obviously, he's very passionate, right, about the project. Today in reviews against GK, he was a bit more inflammatory, I guess, than usual. I don't know if you agree with that, to be honest, but there's definitely like some pressure, I feel, maybe, because you're going to be going into a format that is very cutthroat, right? If you lose 2 best of 3 in a row, you're completely out. It's like only a week of competition. You play every match back to back to back to back. How do you feel about the format, the upcoming schedule ahead of you? Do you feel that it's going to be easy, or is it still a challenge for you guys?
I was a bit surprised that it ends that quickly. Like usually tournaments don't end in 6 days. I'm not really sure. I guess we'll see how it goes. As for format, I like that it's at least best of 3. I would probably prefer best of 5. I think, especially with the Fearless draft, best of 5s are very skill expressive, and I think it can show like really cool stuff, like more so than best of 3. But yeah, I mean, we have like a lot of good players, and we have players that have played so many years already. Like we have like whatever the format is given to us, we just have to adapt to it and perform. That's our job.
Yeah. And have you had the chance to look at the other teams yet, aside from those that you scrimmed, I guess? Would you have maybe like even a top 3, top 5 teams that you are looking towards in terms of the people that could contend with Los Ratones?
I definitely know some teams, and I think like I'm not like 100% an expert in EM Masters, but based on like everything I've seen and based on what my teammates are saying, I think we're thinking something along the lines that the 2 French teams are pretty good. KCB and the other one, which I don't know how to say their name. Yeah. And I think this Arabian team that we screamed today, GK Esports or whatever they're called, those are probably also pretty decent. And besides that, I'm not really sure. Maybe the first place German team is probably also pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's Big, which is first place German, and Los Heretics as well. Los Heretics has some pretty interesting players, I guess. They have a good roster. They have Douglas, they have Rin as well, that is a very hyped up ADC, and they have Kaiser from the LEC as well. So
yeah, that's a pretty good roster too. So I would say probably like those 5 teams I think that I mentioned are probably the best teams at the tournament with us.
Yeah, and I mean, do you have any players, I guess, as well that you know from either solo queue, from scrimming against, that you think are talents that we should look towards in the future years that maybe could be LEC ready in the future, outside of Los Ratones, obviously?
I don't think I have really. No, I don't think I've not really like followed, or I just feel like there haven't been a lot of players rising up really over the last few years. I think the number is getting smaller and smaller in my opinion. In a few years ago, I definitely had a lot of players that were in my mind, but nowadays not really, I would say.
Yeah, no, I mean, fair enough. And I guess just to go back, obviously you were talking about the fact that like you guys want to win EMEA Masters and everything. There's also the opportunity to do a golden road this year still. You won the NLC seeding, I guess, the playoffs as well. If you win EMEA Masters as well, I mean, do you think it's likely that Los Ratones could do a golden road this year and maybe win all 3 EMEA Masters even?
I think I'll say it's unlikely, because it is a very hard thing to do, just because you can have an off day or maybe a patch doesn't suit you or whatever. I would say the chances are probably higher if Riot keeps Fearless draft everywhere for the rest of the year. But that's up to them, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a perfect way to move into the next topic I had as well, because I heard today Velja saying on stream that he thought Fearless Draft was the best addition made to League of Legends in recent years. I know there's a lot of rumors right now about like Riot Games talking behind the scene to potentially make it all the entire year and everything, and a lot of people are wishing for it. What is your personal thoughts on Fearless Draft? Do you feel like it is actually the best addition they've made?
Well, my personal thoughts is that I don't know if it's the best addition that could potentially be in the game, but right now with what we have, 100%. Like, I think Fearless Draft, there's almost no downsides and only upsides, especially for viewership and viewers watching the game. And people have to understand that, number one, like, how do I say it? Like, the most important opinion, or like, number one place is for viewers, okay? It's not pro players. Like, viewers have to be put above pro players when it comes to like what we have to do to make them happy. But in general, I just love playing Fearless Draft. I think it adds so much room to expression, whether it is through draft. Like it makes players think about a lot more different scenarios. I also think that Riot is not able to do so many changes per patch or balance the game in a way where it makes professional play happy and solo queue happy. And we need something different that kind of helps with that. And Fearless Draft is exactly that, because even if you have, let's say, very overpowered champions like 2 per role that, you know, is breaking the meta, at least after one game of Fearless, they're out and you're still able to come back in series, even if you're 0-2 down or stuff like that. So I just think Fearless is just an amazing addition to the game.
Yeah, and another big change, I guess, that was made recently was obviously all the, I don't know how you can say that, maybe controversy around the lane swaps, right? Like they made those really cutthroat mechanics to stop lane swaps that like a lot of people complain about. It seemed a bit too extreme. Do you think that removing lane swaps was actually the right call? I know you guys like practiced it a lot in the past. It was pretty successful for even like boss gameplay, right? And everything.
Well, personally, lane swaps should probably be removed long term of League. I definitely see a lot of problems with it. They make laning phase even less important than it already is. They make viewing experience of professional matches even more boring, as people are just ramping on tower for like 5 minutes of the game on each side and stuff like that. The problem I have is that the way Riot has tried to adjust them currently is very, very, very bad in my opinion. I think they completely rushed the decision to put it in the patch. I think the way the lane swap currently works is not very great. I've had games where we're just invading enemy camps and I'm losing XP on mid lane because it somehow detects that there's a lane swap even though it's not happening. And the timers are probably definitely off. So I think Riot should have probably thought about this a lot earlier. They probably shouldn't have implemented such a bad way of trying to stop lane swapping. But long term, I think it is a good decision to remove them.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so I have a few more questions for you. I'm going to be switching to a different topic again, just to talk about other stuff. And one question that I had for you as well that I was very curious about is just the differences, I guess, that you experienced when joining Los Ratones. I mean, obviously, like there's a lot of obvious ones because you're playing remotely and it's a streaming team and everything, but you've had very few teams in your career. You only had like what, Mad Lions, you had Fnatic, Los Ratones, and I mean technically you had a lot of other teams in like LANs when you were an amateur player back in the day. But what would you say is the biggest difference that you felt when joining Los Ratones compared to the other teams that you were in before?
Okay, yeah. So first of all, sure, we are on online, like we play online, but we also meet up a lot of times. At least so far, we've met up already twice.
Yeah.
And we've been together for a very short amount of time, and I think we're gonna meet up a lot more in the future. So that really helps, the fact that it's not only online and that we have these occasional meetups. But I would say that the biggest difference for me is probably that we're more of a player-led team, because usually when you are on an LEC team, it feels like there's not a lot of player-led teams in LEC. Like, it feels like you have a certain responsibility that you have to do, and you can't really voice your opinion in a lot of matters, even though you should be able to, but this is like above you, and there are people above you doing these decisions and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say the biggest difference is just that we as players, we have a lot more voice, and we are going into the direction that we want to go. It's not influenced by other people outside that have no clue about the game.
Yeah, and there's something interesting as well, because I heard a Fnatic player, I don't quite remember who it is, but I heard a Fnatic player say once that he never actually learned anything from his coaches throughout his entire career, because a lot of them were just coaches that were like in the scene to be coaches, and they were not like expo players. So how do you feel about having someone like Caedrel as your coach instead, that used to play jungle, used to play mid as well, and has so much experience, right, playing the game?
Yeah, well, first of all, he's obviously very smart about the game. You can already see that just by listening to him on stream when it comes to kind of everything. That's why he is also probably the most successful coach streamer that we currently have. It obviously helps the fact that he was ex-professional player for a lot of years, and he played at the highest level, right? This is very important because I don't know, let's say if a coach is Bronze Elo, like, I'm sorry, but he's not capable of coaching challenger players. It is not possible. I've never seen it in my life, and I never will, because the level gap is just too big at that point. So yeah, I mean, the difference is very noticeable. I definitely also experienced myself, I would say, a lot of coaches that were good and bad, and you can kind of see it very fast when you work with them, like who has the knowledge about the game or who can actually grapple with players who can't. So I definitely, in my career, I preferred coaches that were either very high MMR or in solo queue, or they were professional players before, or something along those lines.
Do you feel it's possible there's a lot of coaches maybe like in LEC or even like LTA or something that, I mean, I wouldn't say are frauds or anything, but maybe are not there with the knowledge that they should have to be in such positions?
100%, because this industry is all about non-experts hiring non-experts. So it just will naturally happen over and over again. I definitely think majority of LEC coaches or coaches in general in this scene are paycheck stealers.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I have just a last few questions for you. One I wanted to ask you as well is, do you have a past teammate, or I guess current teammate as well works, that you think is really underrated? Like, who was the person you worked with, in your opinion, that was the most underrated throughout your career?
Most underrated, it's a very hard question, because honestly, I would say most of the teammates that I played with, we had huge fan bases, or there were definitely moments where they were getting, praised and stuff. So I have a really hard time answering that question. I really think that majority of teammates that I played with were very good at the game, or are still very good at the game, and people have acknowledged that at some point in time.
Yeah, no, I mean, fair enough. All right, just last few questions then. I had one that really I found interesting as well, because you do so much actually. You have a Patreon, you do streaming, you scrim obviously, and you play solo queue, you do all that. And I know a lot of people like to meme streamers, and they like to say oh, these guys are paid to play video games all day and be behind their computer and everything. But how do you manage to balance all that with your personal life as well? And how do you feel about your job in general? Do you feel like it's a complicated job, I guess, because obviously you spend a lot of hours, right?
Yeah, definitely a cool question. I think it depends on person to person how they kind of want it to have. For example, I could just stream 6 hours a day and then just go do whatever I want and then show up next day and do the same thing. But I don't have that type of life. I have a set routine that I do every day, and it involves doing things that I think are beneficial. For example, I'll work out in the morning, or I'll, you know, be careful about my diet and stuff like so. Basically outside the game, but then I also do stuff like, you know, watching other streamers, watching YouTube videos, studying VODs, this and that, doing like community stuff. Like, so I would say like my days are, I would say like full. Like I would say close to full. I probably have like a couple of hours at most, maybe 2-3 hours a day where I can kind of do whatever I want, but it usually ends up being like league related anyway. So in some sort of way, I'm doing it like work related, I guess, or however you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to consume league pretty much all day at this point, I guess, with your work. And yeah, I had another question from actually someone that used to work on the LEC as well. Someone that commented on a post I made on Los Ratones community, and she was very curious because you obviously had a long break, right, since your days in Fnatic, but throughout your career, you only had 2 pentakills in pro play, one on Kayle and one on Caedrel, which were in 2018, 2019, both of them. When do you think you're going to be able to get a new pentakill again? And if you had to predict what champion it would be, what champion do you think it would be, I guess?
It's a really good question. I would love to say this year, but I also have a lot of players that I feel like, you know, really take kills and are carries in my team. So it's not going to be easy, but I guess this year, and I would say a champion that I could see myself getting penta on is maybe like Tristana. Like it's very easy resets.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. And just last topic that I had in mind for me was obviously Los Ratones as a huge fan base. It is honestly, like in modern League of Legends, one of the biggest fan base I guess there is nowadays. And it's very surprising because obviously you guys are not in the LEC, but people watch so much Los Ratones content. We saw it with the fact that like your finals match got more viewership than the LTA North America, which is crazy. And I just want to ask you, like, how is it dealing with being a public figure in front of so many different people, and just, I guess, balancing all that as well?
Honestly, I don't really feel it. Like, even though we might be right now kind of famous, or a lot of people are watching us, like I feel like, at least for myself, maybe some of my other teammates, I don't feel like we really feel it. Like we are just ourselves, like we were 1 or 2 years ago. We're just focused on having a good time, playing well, learning. That's just how we do it, I guess.
Yeah. And something that's really funny as well, I don't know if you go on Twitter very much, but a few weeks ago there was a discourse on Twitter about the K-popification of esports, and I think it's a good example because it's a weird term a bit, but like it targets, like, I guess, the fact that like some people in esports nowadays are like doing stan culture. They're like very dedicated to specific players, you know, like they are big fans, they do like fan art, they do I don't know, I mean, obviously all that kind of stuff. Do you have any thoughts about this, I guess, evolution about esports and like people getting more invested in players as well and all that, I guess?
Yeah, as I said, I think esports is going to be more like community led and stuff. So I definitely think this is probably going to happen more and more in the future. I would say that I am totally fine with it as long as it doesn't cross a certain line where it becomes unhealthy or too parasocial or something like that.
Yeah.
But until then, like, I'm very happy to see people supporting other people.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, that is it for all my questions. Do you have anything you want to say to the fans before we close off?
We're going to win EMEA Masters.
Perfect. And just to finish up as well, I want to ask you, how is going the investigation into the chatter that sent the meowing clip to Caedrel as well?
Still working on it.
Perfect. Well, Nemesis, in any case, thank you so much for your time tonight. It was great talking to you, and I wish you the best of luck at EMEA Masters in the next few weeks, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.